Peace, my family, and roll back to all. Those coming out of that good cocoon for the first time, welcome. This your girl, the butterfly. We about to take off. Let's fly. Just want to send you all that good healing energy your way. Peace, love, happiness, harmony, and abundance. Hope you guys are out there keeping your mind right and that good non-mind. How y'all feeling? Hope you guys most definitely moving on up in your higher natures and most definitely cleansing the lows. I came out here today to express and family. I just want to share a little bit of what I felt like when I was going through that good journey with it in the beginning. When I had my spiritual awakening, and mind you, going through the process, of course, you experience a lot of different emotions, and everybody is different, right? As you begin to, I remember when I first heard, our master teacher, Dr. Malachi L. speak, and to me, it was just like, who is this? And I was like, oh wow, I never ever heard anyone break down the Bible like he did. Because again, in the beginning, in a child, I was growing up in Christianity, so to me, that was what resonated to me first, and that's why I encourage people to start where what you know, as a, start with what you know. As a child, you start with what you know, and so you could begin to start to piece it all together, right? And begin to see the true meanings behind, the scriptures and the stories and things that, you was taught your whole life, right? So it began to make so much sense through time. And I started with the YouTube videos and just listening, really taking in every little bit I could, even though at the time, it felt like some of the videos I can hear. Of course, they're older videos, so you won't be able to hear it all the time. Sometimes you gotta get it. You gotta get it anyway. You can, because that's what I felt like. Because at that time, it was just like, man, I gotta, hear everything that this person is telling me, because it was just like in my inner soul was, calling me closer to what he had to say. And to me, it was just like, it was everything. It was everything, because I don't know, to me it was just like I wanted to know more. Like I said before, I always wanted to know more, right? And you hear about certain things about the world and lying to you about a lot of different things, hiding things, all types of stuff. So it was a breath of fresh air to hear someone actually speaking on things that you wanted to get a deeper understanding, a deeper understanding, a deeper understanding of what's really happening here, right? And to me, I like stuff like that. That's who I am. I like to learn. I like to, learn new things. I was always a spiritual person, like even as a child, I always was like this as far as, wanting to be closer to the Most High. And to me, that meant a lot, and I always wanted to, find my way, and my purpose, right? So again, all of it helped me out, right, along the journey. And again, family, it was just like mind-blowing of the things that when I began to, check out what he was talking about, actually looking it up for myself and doing my own research as I began to seek out the truth, right, and the facts behind what he was saying, as going through the scriptures and looking at what he was saying in his original language, checking out, seeing it all check out, seeing it all add up, okay, it all made a whole lot of sense. So as I kept going along, it was just like, whoa, I kept having like mind-blowing experiences, light bulb moments. It was just like, it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And as I began to feed myself more and more, it was just like, my consciousness expands, my consciousness rise. And in time, it was just like my soul started to get fed, okay? And then through time, it's like the cup started to overflow, and so where people around me were just looking like, oh wow, she's woke. Like, it was undeniable. Like, people looking like, oh wow. It was just like interactions from people who used to be crazy, okay? They were just looking at me, but not even knowing much, but just, I can tell that they started to see my inner light started to come out, right? And it was beautiful. It was, overwhelming sometimes. And again, it was like, something I had to, learn how to maneuver, right? Because you don't know. So at that time, it was just like, interesting. But again, it started to really get to a point where when you begin to get fed, like our master teachers has been feeding us, it gets to a point where as you begin to feed, you have to begin to start making the changes that is needed to better yourself. And that starts with cleansing your temple, right? That's why I focus on in the beginning of my message, and what I do on my channel is I speak a lot about cleansing, because that's what it's about, cleansing the temple, cleansing yourselves, because you have to do an internal cleansing on yourselves and everything that you hold so dear to, as far as, getting attached to the world, even though we've been warned about that. If we were paying attention, we've been warned, right, on the Most High, through the messengers, of what's really happening here, what's going on, and how we need to stay away from certain things, right? Because if you really, paying attention, you're really checking things out about how people move out here these days, and what they be on and what they do, and you checking out the scriptures and what the Most High says, right? Which is first and foremost the most important, right, of everything. The only thing that's important, right? Let's just get with it. The only thing that's important, when you begin to see it like that, it contradicts on what the world is doing. It goes totally against its ops. So at the end of the day, it's looking like, okay, what's really going on? Are these traps? Are these tricks? Am I being deceived? What's happening here? Because ultimately, remember, family, the Most High has sent many messengers, prophets, with an S, not just one. So for everybody to be locked into, one religion without doing the research and understanding where it all came from, and that can cause, in a sense, division, and it has, and confusion, right? Because you see other people doing this and how they worship, they're doing that, and it's just like, wait, what's going on? What direction am I supposed to go to, right? Well, family, when you begin to really take a step back and examine and research the religions and where they all came from and what has happened through our Most High sending these messengers and prophets down here to let us know in different time periods what's really happening and what we need to be doing here and now, right? All of those messages you can learn from, and it matters. But guess what? The message, came from somewhere, right? And these stories came from somewhere. It came from Egypt. It came from Tamaray. It came from ancient Kemet, right? As you begin to see these things, it's ancient texts that they're pulling from, right, to get this whole shebang, right? So that's why I say, and this is just my experience, and I'm sharing what I know of it, right? I say all the scriptures matter, all the ancient texts matter, because it's going to lead you back to where it all came from. The mystery schools, it's going to lead you back, the lower mystery schools and the higher mystery schools. It's going to lead you back, right, to where it all came from, right? So that's why it's very important for us to get to reading these texts and get to reading these things, because you begin to see the stories and the link to certain things of the stories in other places on the planet, and we're trying to figure out where did this all come from, right? But I'm telling you, through my own spiritual journey, now I found out in time as me doing my own spiritual journey and awakening and my journey within, that's where it led me back to Egypt, right? So again, that's where it all came from. So everybody's so locked into all these things. Take it all with you. Take everything that the prophets has taught you with you. Take all the books with you. You don't have to be locked in it. Take it all with you. And guess what? You'll find out that the science of the Neteru in Egypt is the science of Nuwapu, right? So as we begin to understand where these things came from, and it leads you to who you are and who you truly are anciently, you'll begin to see what's really happening here, and why things are the way that they are today, and why people make it seem like what this is, or what they think this is, some type of cult or whatever they say that they think that it is. And let me just say, this is not a cult. This is a culture. In the words of our master teacher, this is a culture. This is a way of life. This is who we are, a culture. And again, family, when you begin to see that for yourself with the words that our master teacher has brought forth to us from the Most High, you begin to see and understand what's really happening here. You begin to understand all of the facts and science behind it. Who does that? Who has on this planet brought us so much information about us, about who we are, the hidden knowledge that has come forth for us to know more in detail, family, about what's really happening here on this planet and who we are and the real stories that happen. Who brought that to us, right? But again, people can get blinded, people can get deaf, people can get dumb out here because listening to what the world has to say, that's problem number one. And when you begin to understand and see, when you start listening to what the world has to say about certain things, and it contradicts with what, the Most High says, right? You be looking like, wait a minute, if the world is saying this thing, they saying they saying all these things, it's just like, nah, with the works that he came to bring, nah, it just don't add up. It just don't make sense. This is me and how I think. It don't make sense, right? It does not make sense to me at all. And it seems like every leader that comes out trying to speak, truth, facts, science, history, it's a problem, right? And again, that's a light bulb moment within itself, because the question becomes, why? Why is it a problem? It seems to me that, they don't really want us to know who we truly are. And that's just what it is. And that's all that it is. So the more people, really check out the information for themselves, not what people say, really actually, if you're interested, want to seek out and see the truth and the facts and the science for yourself, the right knowledge for yourself. And when you begin to get fed out here, you begin to see the truth of it all. And you begin to see how led astray or misled and deceived, you have become due to what, in society or the world that we've been taught. We've been taught to follow the leader. We've been taught to, and where we're going. We've been taught to do all these things, to not really think for ourselves, to not really, check stuff out for yourself. Research. We were taught to not read, and people are disinterested in reading and checking things out, the old school way. And I hate to say that, but it is what it is. A lot of people don't read. A lot of people like the technology. I mean, it's cool. But again, family, when you begin to read things for yourself, you get to get another connection within. You get to connect with your soul when you begin to see the things for yourself. And not just, someone speaking to you about it. When you begin to actually look at the information for yourself and study and read, you'll begin to see things for yourself. like no other. One moment. So they straight up lied, right? And that's just what it is. That's all that it is. They lied. And the question becomes, what if everything that you've been told was a complete lie? I'm talking about growing up, the way society is, the world, and what you've been taught about that. And the whole point of it all is to not keep your eyes on the Most High, to make you forget the Most High. And that's really what it is. You're so distracted into the world doing what you feel like you want to do with your desires and wants and needs, right? When Most High says that He will supply all of your needs. And when you begin to move in alignment with the Most High and what He has created within the universes and the way it works, the laws of it, how you're supposed to be moving, you get the knowledge of that. You will get the knowledge of that in the teachings and so much more. And graduate to a cosmosian. But again, as a student, and this is my experience, you have to be taught all the different schools of thought to understand where everything came from. So it's very important. This is a earth school. This is a learning experience, a spiritual learning experience. The best way that I can describe it, this is all a spiritual learning experience. And through the lessons that you learn through the day-to-day will challenge you, will strengthen you, will get you to express all different emotions, see how attached you are to people, places, and things that at the end of the day I found that really can hold you back from, seeing the essence and the true essence of who you are when you begin to put your, validation or value into those type of things. When reality is, you are who you are because the Most High has created you to be who you are, regardless of any of those things. You are not those things. All those things will fade away. You're not none of those things. So people put all their time, stresses into the world and, the things in it, and not getting nothing back in return at the end of the day. Yeah, it may seem like that temporarily, that you're, living it up and getting the enjoyments now, but this is only temporary. This life is only temporary. So at the end of the day, what are you really getting from it? Because if you're in that tip like that, then your direction and where you're going in life, people don't realize is that you're moving towards self-destruction and you're going astray. So where is it telling you? This world is the devil's playground. It plays many games on your soul to trap your soul here. And with the world and how the world is made through, the material plane and the things in it. And people put their, time and effort and soul all into, where they begin to lose it, right? Lose their soul. And meanwhile, gaining all of the, the so-called moolah and, losing your soul at the end of the day. The love of it, all of those things is just like, it should get your eyebrows turned up a little bit. It really should, because realizing that all those things that people parade around, they promote and make it seem like this is the life, this is my lifestyle, I'm living my best life. All that is, it's a bunch of crap. I'm just gonna say it out loud. Yeah, I said it. It's a bunch of crap. Because again, family, it's only trapping your soul, making you seem like, that life is, your best life. When reality is, your best life is when you're in alignment with the Most High. Right? And most of that lifestyle will have you, always wanting more and more and more when it comes to nothing that is feeding you. Just, useless things that don't mean good and doesn't get you anywhere but stuck in your own existence and creation as far as, what's really out here in this reality, stuck in the reality, not really getting nothing from it. Because that's why, the richest people out here, they still seek something more, something higher than them. At the end of the day, when it's all said and done and get all the money, but they're still seeking for something more. Because guess what, family? It's not about those things. It's not about money. It's not about the successes in the world. Because guess what? People, if they really want to get real with it, they're really not happy. That inner happiness, that inner joy that you only get from our Creator, that joy, you can't buy that. That comes from within. So once you begin to see how reality is, real success is moving in the ways of the Most High, when you begin to really see that, because that's when your true fruit comes from. That's when things happen for you in the right way. That's when you're moving toward the right direction. You're moving on up into higher planes of existence. That's the direction you want to go on up. Moving on up, upper rooms, moving on up. That's where you want to be. That's moving toward and getting closer back to the Most High. That's the direction you want to go, because that's who created you. Right? The Elohim, Anunnaki, the Neteru, that's who created you. Being held procreator. That's who created. That's where you need to be going up, not stuck in this reality below and all of the things in it that's going to keep you trapped here and living in this state. Check it out. Let's be real. Are you happy in this state? Be for real. People try to make themselves happy with artificial, things, and, for the moments, you have moments here. Well, they try to make themselves happy. But inner joy that you get, that's what's going to make you truly happy. Because no one can really take that from you, right? Because it's going to be there regardless. Because you've been moving right. And no matter how far you have gone down the lower spiral, doesn't mean that you can't pick yourself up and decide today that you don't want to live that way no more. You want to change your life. You don't want to walk that walk no more down that lower spiral. You want to spiral on up. No matter how far you have gone down, you can always get yourself back up and make that choice today. So it's very important to realize that, because even though you've done all these things, even though you lived life, and you're still going, you're still out here doing what you do. At the end of the day, family, when you begin to decide that you want to just surrender and give your life, as far as give your life to the Most High, right? And live in His way, which is what the omnipotent Jesus, Yahshua Temet Torah says. You're living your way, His way of life. Your way, right? When I say your way, I mean your real way of life. Not the world's way. Your way of life, your true way of life. When you begin to live and not just read on it, but begin to change your ways and your habits and begin to cleanse yourself and purify your souls out here. That's really where the journey begins. Because it's sad to say that the devils out here have made it, fair seeming to seem, make it seem as if the good is bad and the bad is good. So while you out here doing good, people gonna look at it like you doing bad, like something's wrong with you, because you want to cleanse yourself, because you want to get right with the Most High, because you want to live your life in His way. People are going to look at you like, wait, what's going on with you? What's wrong with you? that should have a question mark up in your head, like, what's really going on here? This is what we're supposed to be doing. And again, we live in life backwards, not moving toward life, eternal life, but moving toward death, right? Self-destruction. And that's not the route you want to go. Meanwhile, and again, that's why the Most High has given us power and choice, free will to make a change, the power to say, no, I'm not doing it this way. I'm going to get myself back in alignment, because going that direction is only going to lead you astray. And going the right direction, on the right path, is only going to lead you toward eternal life. And I don't know about y'all, but as I'm seeing the paths clear from ourselves, that's the path that I want to go, toward eternal life. And I've been on the path of self-destruction and was warned about that as well, told that as well, what you're doing out here. So I'm asking y'all, for the ones that are moving toward the path of self-destruction, what you're doing out here, get back on it, cleanse yourself up, get back right. And let me just say this too, the only thing that really got me fed was the right knowledge, because it teaches on all the scripture, it teaches on ancient texts, everything you need to know and more. The heavens, all the questions that people be running around with, trying to figure out all these things. Our master teacher, Dr. Malachi L, told us it all. Because guess what, family? He's not just a man, he's an angelic being. He's an extraterrestrial, family. And once you guys get that wrapped around your head and realize that life is truly not what it seems, and as you begin to see the veil lift and you begin to see more and more of that popping up, like, what's really going on? Aliens exist? What? Man, I've been trying to tell people for a while now. Yes, extraterrestrials do exist, family. They do. Okay? So, I'm just saying, and again, I hate to say it, but when you hear the world side of things saying certain things popping up on certain things like that, you're looking like, wait a minute. There gotta be something to this. Yeah, And even the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he was taken up in a UFO. So, question, what's really going on here? Do crafts really exist? Yeah. For sure. And how do I know? Because I've seen it for myself. So that's how I know. And I'm just sharing my experiences and my testimony to let y'all know that this reality is real. And you gotta remember, family, I have to remind y'all, because I see that a lot of people do forget this, that we are on a planet, family, and things do fly around. Did y'all forget? Not just airplanes, in space, in outer space. How do you think they move around? Just be for real. And crafts, family. So I'm just saying, it's all there. Piece it all together, family. Just sit and really think about it. Because Tinkle tends to forget that we're on a planet in outer space with all these planets. How do you think people move around? I'm just saying. Let's be for real. But okay, I'm leaving it there for now. Alright? I think I said what I need to say. So, again, know that you are loved beyond this world, and it. Hope you know this. Begin to spread that love one to another. Truth is truth. Be the peace that you seek. Release. I'm Master Teacher, Dr. Malachi, your L family. Peace. Shalom. I should divine love family. And Wadu. And it's all